Hello folks, we're back. It's Friday and we're ready to start working on the saddle again. Last Wednesday, I don't remember what all we did, but I know we fit the back jockeys and I started tooling them, and I think we pretty much finished out the whole video with me just tooling the back jockeys. But anyway, here they are finished, and I'm getting ready to put the frog on and get it stitched on, because today I want to I'll set the jockeys on there and get them fit where they go, and then I'm gonna start to fit the seat. Hopefully I can get it fit today. But anyway, now I'm gonna go over to the table here. Are you ready?
Let me switch to over the head right quick.
All right.
Let me adjust your microphone. All right, here we are back at the table.
All right. I've already got the jockey tooled, and the jockeys are tooled, and the frog is all tooled. Let me mark here where I want it to go. I'm going to scratch this up a little bit so my cement will hold. And I'll go to the machine and stitch this on after I get it cemented. I've already got the jockeys laced together just like I laced the skirt, only this lace is going to be permanent underneath the frog itself. The skirts, I'll take that off and lace it with a piece of leather lace later. Alright, put a little cement on this. Let me get a piece of paper.
Yes.
I'm about ready for some more cement to thin this down a little bit, but this is all I've got is cement today.
The can's getting empty.
Yeah, but I'm okay for today. This is all I'm going to cement today. Right. Hurry up. Cement tack process a little bit. Okay, I want to make sure that the backs are perfectly matched. I want to match this, what I've got marked. All right, that looks pretty good to me. So I think I'm going to go to the machine, see if I can get this stitched on.
Are you stitching from there? Or you,
Where do you want me?
can we do that number maybe?
I think so. It's okay with me.
Move this camera.
Whenever you're ready, I'm ready, I think.
I'm ready.
Okay. I've made a stitch channel in this too. I like to put a stitch channel in about everything on a saddle. Made it through that without a mishap. That always makes me happy. Okay, now back to the table. I'll cut those threads. Machine out of our way a little bit. I didn't backstitch this because this is all going to be underneath the back cantle here on this end of this little part. All right.
Now what?
Now I'm going to put this on the saddle itself.
Well, let me move that around again.
Let me get kind of where I
Okay.
can work. I'll show this because I'm going to be working on this side to begin with.
All right.
You do need an automatic boom. Something that you can extend and turn and raise and lower.
With a
Yeah,
joystick.
Push of a button.
Right.
Yeah. Everything else is like that.
Sometimes it's not nothing but a best. Most times it's not that.
You okay?
No, hang on, let me record.
Now after I finish tooling these, I don't know if you remember, but I was telling you I always cup everything while it's damp so it dries under, curled under rather than curled up. And that's pretty important on these back jockeys because I'm going to set them in here, and when I pull them around, it's gonna draw them down towards the skirt. I don't know if you can see what I'm doing there, but when I pull it around, see how it draws that down. And if it was curled up, it wouldn't look near as good. And when this is all done, the skirt will be up here, and these will be practically touching, hopefully. But anyway, what I'm going to do here is get me some very small nails because I'm going to pull these back out eventually, but I want to nail them tight right now. I'm going to center it up here in the back, pull this up as tight as I can. Tack it there. Jim, can I turn this saddle around this way now?
Yep.
Then I'm going to come over here. I'm going to drive a spike in this side. And if you'll notice, I'm a little bit off center here. I'm a little bit this way. Good, I can't get my spike to stay stuck. Spike to stay stuck. Now I'll nail this one tight over here. Now if you can see, I'm dead center right here. Just centered over the top of my skirts. Everything drew down pretty nice there. When everything's done and that skirt's pulled up, it ought to fit pretty nice. That's what I'm after, and I've got a nice even reveal across here and across here. So everything looks good to me there. All right.
Let's take a look at it overhead real quick.
Okay.
Let me just make sure I can get this camera. Let's move the saddle where it needs to be. All right. We're looking at your reveal on the back side here.
Yeah. Yeah, see how everything, this is pretty much parallel with this as it goes down. Of course, when you get down here, that parallel part ends, but it still stays even all the way around.
All right.
Okay. Let's try to fit the seat on this dude. First thing I'm going to do though, I've already wet my piece of seat leather, so you guys didn't have to watch me sloshing water around. But this is really saturated. It's really wet.
I can attest to that.
It's really wet, and it needs to be really wet. But because it's wet, I'm going to be putting it on here, so I'm going to wet the rest of this so I don't leave a water spot. I'm not going to just saturate this, but I want it damp so whatever this part of this leather touches, it's not going to spot it. Mostly what I've got to worry about is the fork of the saddle, but since I'm wetting part of it, I got to wet the whole thing. Also, I need to pin these front jockeys down too, the front to rigging. I'm going to use some little blue tacks to tack my rigging down with. Again, I'm going to use a spike and draw it around a little bit. I'm using these blued carpet tacks because these are going to come back out. I got to take the back jockey off again, or the skirts off again. All right, that's done. Done with these nails for a little bit, I think. Get out of my way. Okay. I'm going to fold this in half and find the approximate center of what I've got here. Okay, now I'm going to set it on the saddle. I probably need to. Let me see, I'm going to be working on this side, Tony, so.
Come towards this page. See that right there?
Okay.
Are you good with that?
All right. I've got the center of my back cantle marked here. The center of the front is the center of the fork here that I've got. Okay, the first thing that I'm going to do, I'm going to get these small spikes. Now I've marked myself a point right here that I'm going to go to. This is going to be the corner of my seat. This is going to be where the seat button wraps around and the seat jockey comes down from it. So I want to find it. Using all of this, all the way through here. go into this hole that I've got made. All right. Well, that is permanent. And we'll go over here and make sure everything stays flat, nice and flat across here. I'm going to do the same thing to this other side. Alright, now what I'm going to do, I'm going to take this straight knife and split this seat down a little bit. This front. That just kind of relaxes it and lets it fall over there a little ways. I don't want to go farther than I need to go though. Now that I've got that, I am going to mark my actual center on this. Right there. My actual center on this, which is right there, even with this split in our fork cover. Now what I'm going to do, I'm going to come here, and I want this to come down over my Cheyenne roll and then come back to be a seat button back there. So what I'm going to do is come down like this, then I'm going to come back, and I'm going to come all the way out there. And I'm going to cut that here in a minute, but I also want to mark my front. I've got a little pattern here that I made. Okay, right here is the front of that to our seat hole, so I'm going to make that about where I want to make this cut. I used to just cut half of it and just cut a little bit at a time, but I find I made this pattern, makes it a little more symmetrical for me. All right. Let's see what happens. I'm going back to the table now, Tony. I'm going to be going back and forth.
Good, that'll make it a fun day.
I slicked this seat down a whole lot too. I just
Hold on just a second. Gotta be quiet. It's not ready for you yet.
all right. I slicked this seat down too. I went over it a whole bunch of times and just flattened it out and stretched it out as much as I could. Now I'm not going all the way to this hole that I made, because I'm going to use that hole as a locator hole until I get this seat button. Alright, I got that cut. Now, just for grins, I'm going to fold this over. See if I can match these two holes. See how close we are as far as symmetry goes. Looks pretty good right now. So now I'm gonna cut this deal that I marked up for the seat hole, or the handhold. Those are really good pieces of leather there. If you guys like to make your rig catchers and rosettes and stuff out of those, that's what I always used. I've already made these for this saddle because I didn't want to have to put you guys through all that boredom of me cutting that kind of stuff.
You just have a rosette punch?
No, I cut mine out by hand. I just drew a circle and cut mine by hand.
Well, we might have to make you do one so we can
I might.
one. I know I said we might, but I really meant we were. Sorry if you felt like you had a choice.
Alright. We're going to call that good. Now let's put it back on. No. Let me cut this other side. See, I just fit on my near side, and then I try to make it to match the off side. That's why I'm careful trying to find my center of everything. Waiting.
Yeah, I think so. You're good.
You good? All right. Now let me pin these back down. going to be the ear of my seat there. I'll do that to the other side when I take everything back off. Now I'm going to start to get in front of this seat. I'm a little bit too high there, so I'm going to come like this. You got to be careful because when everything draws down, it's a bit smaller than what you think it is here. Okay, I'm going to take it off and make that cut. Actually, I'm going to make 2 cuts and transfer them over side to side. Ready? Now before I transfer that, I'm going to see how that cut looks. I'm going to keep you busy, Tony.
I'm figuring that out.
You ready?
Yep. I switched to the overhead camera for this one. Ow.
That's myself.
I didn't feel it.
About went too far there. I almost uncovered a nail, but I'm okay. You just got to use your eyeball and just kind of mark a little bit ahead of yourself and go a little bit at a time. Looking good so far. Just inching my way around this fork. Don't want to be too excited. Looking good. Another thing I forgot to mention, when you cut this seat piece, you want the flankiest part, which when you cut it out of the butt, there's going to be a part that's towards the flank and a part that's towards the back. So you want the flankiest part on the cantle side. On the other side. Here. That's how much I had to play with. Like
That ain't much.
Now, let's start working on our seat jockey. bottom of your front seat jockey wants to be approximately at the same level as the bottom of your back jockey. And approximately parallel with it. So I'm going to do something like this. Something like that.
So when we were looking to go around the forks, you were holding up and kind of fitting it. Were you just making it try to stay past your folds and nails that you had?
Yeah, up above all that stuff. But also, you want it to crawl up on the fork just a little bit. Mm-hmm. You don't want it to just butt into the fork.
Okay.
It's just more pleasing to crawl up on there a little bit. It gives it a little bit of.
I know we were just watching and we were going along there, so I was just trying to make sure to not interrupt your flow.
Starting to look a little bit like a seat.
Two rooms over, running the splitter, and I could hear.
Oh yeah.
I can hear Jared yelling. Adjust our microphone just a little bit.
I don't know if you can see what I mean, but it's kind of crawling up on that fork. It's not just diving into it, especially over here. I might cut a little bit of that off here in a minute. I don't know.
Yeah, just one little fold there.
Well, I'm going to tool it too, and a lot of that stuff will disappear when I tool it.
Very good. All sorts of plans.
Yeah. just trying to make it look kind of pleasing to my eye. I don't want any real flat spots. I want everything to just arc from one part into another. Amazing what happens when you strop your knife. I'm sure there's a lot of saddle makers that do things a lot different than me.
That's okay. We're watching you right now.
All that means is that I do things different, a lot different than them.
Yeah.
I learned from a pretty good saddle maker. And I worked for some good saddle makers. All right, basically, there's our seat. Put it on there and trim up the back panel just a little bit, just so we don't have a lot of excess there. And figure out where I'm going to put my. We're putting an inlaid seat in this too, so I've got to lay that out. Thumbnails come in handy sometimes.
Trying to see you poking it with the thumbnail, but you're just kind of
Yeah,
marking a
I
little
was
spot
just
to give
giving
you a little
myself-
cut mark.
Just giving myself a little guide mark. All right. I think I like that. All right. Here's my little inlay pattern. So what I've got to do is fidget around here and make sure I get it centered nicely about where I want it. I would say that's it. I'll show you the piece of stuff that I'm going to use to inlay this with here in a minute. But that'll be one of the very last things we'll do. So. Alright, there we have it. Now, I'm going to flatten this all back out and let it get bone dry and draw myself a tooling pattern for it and tool it before we do anything else on the seat itself.
Before you even cut out the inlay?
Oh yeah, the inlay will be way later. I think it's break time for a minute.
I think so. Let's see a man about a horse. Sorry, I'm moving you around everywhere. There you go. That's what inlay is going to be.
Oh, you found it. All right. That'll be pretty nice.
Just give it a little kick, but not a lot of
Yeah,
flare.
because it's not going to be very big. It's going to be that big. That's all you will see of it.
What if you just did that little part? Just ran its nose on out there.
Yeah, there's not enough. I got to have about an inch all the way around this. I don't believe I want that part.
No.
I don't know which part to go forward. You think this should be the front?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
So I want to center it right along this line here. About like that.
Mm-hmm.
It's going to be pretty darn nice if I can do it good.
I wish we had a black one. Then you can paint all your backgrounds black.
I hate black.
Get real good flow going on. Denny says, I hate black.
All right.
Now what
I
are
guess
we doing?
we're ready to start again.
What are we starting?
Well, I'm gonna increase this line a little bit so I can see it better,
Oh, okay.
and then
Let me do that over.
we're gonna go back to the saddle.
Okay. As long as you don't move from there. All right, let's make the pattern a little bit bigger for our inlay, right?
No, I'm just making the lines a little darker so I can see them better.
Yeah, we can't see it.
Because I'm gonna cut this eventually. after we have the seat blocked in. This is also, when I tool it, I've got to put a border around this. So I want to know where to go to with my border. All right, let's leave that alone. I'm going to put this over on the big table. Lay it flat.
Just laying it over here dry.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Wipe that water up a little bit. Stuff on there. That'll be good. Okay, I'm going to take this the back jockeys back off now. But I have a reference hole to put them back on with when it's time. So, I'll tell you what, I'm going to bevel the edges and burnish this while everybody's watching.
All right.
Are we ready?
No. I need
That's what I thought.
to reconfigure. So. Man, there's a puppy out in that truck that's just going crazy. You hear it?
Not liking that.
Go for it.
Okay. First thing I'm going to do, I've got a number 2 Western edger here. I'm going to bevel this edge. The frog I've already beveled and burnished. I had to do that before I could stitch it on. I hope you folks don't mind. But I did it the same way I'm doing this. I call this a Western edger. I think that's what it is. It's just, I've always called them a fork edger. This is what it looks like here.
Here, hold it right above where you're. There you go.
See it. But I use that type of edger for almost all of the saddle work that I do. Now, I'm gonna wet this pretty good, and then I'm gonna go over it with a creaser. Because everything that's single ply and not stitched, I like to crease the edge. It makes a little line on there, but what it mainly does, it just packs that edge and makes it easy to burnish and makes the burnish stay a little better. But this is the creaser that I'm using. This is an old, I think it's an Osborne. Might be a Gomp, I'm not sure. But you can use whatever size you've got, whatever size you want to use. And I'm left-handed, so I run a creaser a little different than most people. I don't know if you can see how it's packing that edge when I do this. But after I do this, I'm going to go over it with some 400 grit sandpaper while it's still damp. And then I'll use some glycerin saddle soap and a piece of canvas. And just rub it till it's raw. Alright, now I'm going to take this piece of sandpaper and just, you don't have to spend a lot of time on it, and it's 400 grit, and I use it while it's damp, while the leather is damp. And you don't have to spend a lot of time sanding if you cut good and beveled it, and especially when you go over it with that creaser. Creaser about halfway burnishes just by itself. Okay. Now I'm going to get some water and wet it one more time. Glycerin saddle soap on it.
Let's see if we can see that edge pack.
I
I want to see if I can try to get your edge pack look on there now where we're at. I can't see all the way over to my computer screen. See if you can go see it over there on the computer screen. We'll switch positions. All right, guys, next part of the saddle we're going to be doing. So Denny's going to be running.
A little bit flatter.
Okay.
A little more. Yeah, there you go. Now you can see that.
Right there on, right by my thumb.
Right beyond that little flower border. Makes a crease line, but it also, when you're running it, you're pushing against that edge, and it actually packs that edge nicely.
All right. That's what we should do for one video. You run the cameras, and I'll do a leather project.
All right. And it doesn't take a lot of saddle soap when you do this. The saddle soap is just kind of it adds a little bit of sticky to it, but mostly the friction that you're creating when you use this piece of canvas is what makes that edge polish nicely. But if you can just rub this till it gets hot, it'll really shine up nice. Especially after you use that little bit of sandpaper on it. And this, you guys, the finish work that you do on something is what really sets it apart from you can do a really nice job mechanically on something, but if you don't finish it out nicely, it's not going to show very well. Okay, now I know you can't feel
Lay
this.
it back down,
You
lay it back
can't
down.
you can't feel that through the camera, but that is just slick as glass.
Hold on just a second. Just put that anywhere. Yeah, all right. You can see that light shining off it for sure.
Yeah. It is very slick. Actually, I'm going to touch it one more time with this creaser. Okay, that's the name of that tune. I am going to wet this one more time and shape it a little more. I'll show you guys what I mean by cutting. I just dip this in the water and I'm going to let it sit for just a minute here. Okay, now when I say cup it, I'm just taking my hand and bending this. Bending it so it all cups around towards itself rather than away from itself. When you get it wet, it makes the tooling stand out.
You can really see that burnishing of the tooling there.
Yeah. Okay. Now I'm just going to set this somewhere where it'll set like this, because I'm not going to put it back on the saddle for right.
You don't need it to be.
I'll set it on top of this machine. Alright, now we're going to punch and mark some holes. If I can find my wing dividers again. I'm gonna lace this. I'm gonna run a piece of lace through the skirting and in through the top of this rigging. So I'm gonna make some holes where I can lace that together like that. Start with one back here, right at the very back.
Hold on just a second. Okay, Brandon, got it. There's a puppy that made it out of the truck. It's about to jump onto the concrete. All right.
Start right here. The lace is gonna tie in right back here.
Sorry to pause you one more time. I need to adjust my camera. Sorry, I was watching the dog and not watching you.
That dog's gonna get out again. Brandon needed to take that dog inside and hold it till those people come back. You ought to just take it in the store. We're having dog problems here. Or you just take it over to retail and find those guys. I knew it is.
Keep walking the dog and I'm not gonna let it get hit by a car.
Just take it over there and hand it to him.
You keep it inside, but jump out and flip on the ground. Good night. Well, it was jumping up on his face. Why do we gotta drive 40 miles an hour through the parking lot? All right, carry on.
All
I
right.
think.
The lace.
Yeah, you're gonna show us how you're marking the holes and what you're doing.
Yeah.
Sorry, I stopped you 3 times.
That's all right. Okay, I'm gonna start with the hole right here, which is also gonna go all the way through the skirt. The lace is gonna tie in right here and go in through that hole. Then, I said this is about 1.5 inches. It's gonna come out through this hole. Into that hole. Out of this hole. That's probably all I got to do. Yeah. So come out of this hole, go into that hole, come out of this hole, go into this hole. Yeah. Come out, tie in. Okay. Now let me get a big punch and I'll punch those holes. Now, hold the skirt up here, mark the skirt. I'm gonna mark it with an ink pen, I can see it better. Now when I have the skirts back off, I'll just take a drive punch and punch those holes. You know, the other side here, and I'll do the same thing. Put that right there. All right, that's all there is to that. Let me see, what else can I do today? I can take the skirts back off, start to trim them. That's what I will do. Since we're sort of at a standstill other than that.
We can sit down for a minute and take any questions if you want to, and sip a little coffee.
Sounds good to me.
But just roll your chair over here.
This is my favorite spot, you guys.
Let me go see if there's any coffee over there. Wash my grapes off too, so I can drink coffee.
You're gonna wash your grapes with coffee?
Maybe. These are the cotton candy grapes. Have you had them?
Oh yeah, I love them. I love them.
Our old water guy was bringing water, so I had to holler at him a minute.
So Brandon take the puppy over there?
Liz did.
Oh, Liz did.
Because he went and told Liz about it, so Liz was like, fine, I'll take it to him. So Liz took in the puppies because they kept on jumping out. I don't think they ever hit the pavement.
No, but it was wanting. It was wanting to.
So, and then he put them inside the truck. Didn't crack a window. He's the next one to go in the truck and not crack a window.
Trying to make him a cattle dog, but he's gonna be a road flat dog.
You want some grapes, Denny?
Thank you, no. I appreciate it. You know, I never used to eat, when I was single, I never ate fruit stuff. You know,
Yeah.
I was a meat and potatoes guy. But my wife always buys grapes and bananas and apples.
You're trying to keep it fibered up.
Yeah. And I've gotten to where I really do like grapes.
Well, these
Good
cotton
grapes.
candy ones, like I used to hate green grapes. Like eating green grapes was bleh.
Yeah.
But they got these cotton candy ones, and there's one other one That's with like a melon. It has a melon flavor to it.
She got some a while back. They were great big. They were purple grapes. I'm not sure what kind they were or where she got it, but man, they were the sweetest grape I've ever had in my life.
Yeah.
They were good.
Tess was saying grapes frozen in the summertime.
Oh yeah.
My mom will freeze them up, and then you take them out by the pool.
Oh yeah. Nice.
Or you can even put them in like water, so whenever you take a drink of it, you can then you crunch on a grape instead of on a hard piece of ice.
Who has questions?
Nobody.
Nobody? Can you all do this?
That's all right. We can still sit down and take a minute.
Yeah. I do want to. I am going to take the skirts off though and trim them because that's. I need to do
We can
that.
trim them and do our dry punches. We'll have them off.
Yeah. But see, I've got more holes to punch in the skirts too. I've got to punch holes in the tree and the skirt, but I got to get the seat on there first.
Oh, because you got to go all the way through.
Yeah, for the saddle strings.
Yeah. Because you want them saddle strings pulling on that tree. So it's carrying the weight.
They pull. They actually are part of the mechanism that holds the skirts onto the tree,
Mm-hmm.
and then they go all the way through the tree and then through the seat.
Well, and then it's also pulling on the, like if you hang something on those saddle strings, it's pulling on the tree and
Yeah. A lot of factory
Not become
saddles
leather.
will just.
put
they'll-
them through the leather.
Yeah. A lot of factory saddles, they'll just go through like the top layer of leather, or even just screw the strings on there.
I'm not sure
on
that
top.
Denny know what kind of steel it is. It's Sean Woodson.
Yeah. I think I've got the
Is
information.
that right there by your?
I've got the information.
Oh, do you? Where's your knife?
This one. Oh, I put it back. This one, the model is a Crescent 4
Crescent 4.
with a Dynamax handle.
Dynamax handle.
It's 100-layer Damascus, hardened to 60 Rockwell C.
It's 1084 and 15 and 20.
What does that mean?
That's the steel that's in it. I believe 1084 is the hardened steel, and then the 15 and 20 is the mild steel that gives it that look.
I see.
That takes that etching.
Yeah.
Oh, that's your coffee, not mine.
And you know, when I first got this knife, I really liked it, but I had a little trouble with it because it's kind of a smaller knife than what I was used to.
Yeah.
But after I've used it a little bit, I don't want to use any other knife.
That was the one that Chris Andre was saying that he had talked with Sean about.
Yeah, but Chris's knife is a little different than this even. He
Yeah.
had some of those there, but I didn't care for them. They came up to a real sharp point right here. You know, you had to really get up on it or get down on it to cut with it, and but I like the way this one cuts. Everybody has their own taste, you know. And,
Does Denny prefer the awl he was using for the hold the seat or larger saddle spike?
oh, it doesn't matter. I've got all kinds of spikes, all kinds of awls, and I'll use them all at different times, you know.
I think we were messing with it when we had all those spikes out when we did that, when we were rebuilding that saddle, doing repairs on it. I think we had 6 or 7 out there.
The only reason I used the awl today was it has a sharp point, and I could drive it all the way through the leather easier.
Yeah.
You know.
You can't feel that Damascus in the knife when you're cutting.
No.
Because it should have that Damascus isn't going to go all the way out to that. It shouldn't go all the way out to the edge. Your hardened edge shouldn't be Damascus part of it.
Yeah, it's just part of it. You can, if you didn't, the way Chris was telling me, our Chris,
Uh-huh.
you couldn't even see that it's Damascus until you put whatever kind of etching acid they use on it.
Yeah.
Then you can see the different layers. But you know, if they didn't do that, it would just look like a regular piece of steel.
And it doesn't, no benefits to it other than it's pretty to look at.
Yeah, and it is beautiful.
Chevy has his question. Do you know how much your saddle is yet?
What's that?
Chevy wants to know how much your saddle is, if you know that yet.
How much it is?
Uh-huh.
No, I don't.
What's out of your budget?
If it gets any ribbon at all, or even any interest at Sheridan, it's going to be expensive.
If he comes
Right.
home with best of show.
Right now, if we didn't take it anywhere and we just set it out on the showroom floor, it'd probably be around 7,000 or 7,500, something like that.
Plus, you have a whole video series to go along with it. Maybe that's
Right.
what we do whenever we sell it. We'll make them a
Yeah.
DVD to go along with
Yeah,
it.
there you go.
Now
This-
now when we sell it, that's at least another $1,000 worth
There
of
you
good.
go.
I'll sign the
I-
DVD too.
I don't know. You know, most custom saddle makers now, their base price is $4,000 or $5,000.
Yeah,
You know, when you add a full floral stamp to it, you add a whole bunch of money to it.
yeah. Yeah, Chevy said that was what his dad was figuring the price was going to be.
You know, is that right?
Yeah, but that don't scare his dad none. Hey Chevy, I'm looking at a new car. What kind of cars your dad like to buy?
Probably find you one.
Yeah.
You'd have to
I looked
drive.
him up. He's got a good little business going on up
Yeah.
there. I checked him all out.
You're in Nebraska, aren't you, Chevy?
Yeah, he's
Yeah.
up on the west side. I told
Yeah.
Brandon and Dan when they were going out there that they need to try to hook up with him and meet him while they went through there, but they ended up meeting him at Sheridan.
Yeah. Yeah. Nice fella. Nice fella.
Yeah.
Chevy, did you ever buy that truck you were looking at while you were there?
He was looking at a truck in Sheridan.
I don't know if it was in Sheridan or not, but he had looked at one. We all had breakfast one morning and he was talking about it.
Sharpening a head knife. Do you ever sharpen it or you just...
I don't like to sharpen it because when you sharpen it, you put a bevel on it. And I don't know if you can see. Can you get this on overhead?
I
No.
can try, but I don't know.
But this blade, it goes from here to the point. It basically has no bevel. It's just one solid piece
Yeah.
that goes from thick to thin.
Yeah.
And it's very thin to begin with. That's another remarkable part of this knife, is how thin it is. But if you're going to sharpen it, hold it just as flat as you can. Put as little bevel on it as you can. Make it very, very steep.
He said no,
And-
he didn't buy that truck, but they're going to pick up 2 from Casper.
Oh, so now you're going to be a double trucker.
Double trucker. Double trucker, mother. Yeah, see, I only need 1 car. You're an expensive son. I'm going to ask your dad if he can adopt me. I come prepackaged with granddaughters. There's no grandpas on my side of the family no more.
Well, mine either.
Yeah.
Mine either.
Oh, they're work trucks.
Oh, yeah.
Well, I'll answer emails in the car.
They probably don't even have a heated seat, do they?
No. Man, when I was looking at for Amanda, heated and fan in the seat.
Oh, wow.
That way, air goes both ways.
There's the dog guy.
They getting in it. It was about time for me to go find Liz to make sure they were going to let them out.
All right. Let's get the skirts off of this saddle.
Put your chair up, and then if you'll just say that. Let me get my camera set. And we'll go back to we're gonna. Nope. Nope.
Nope.
Nope. Don't yet. We're gonna use this as. I got a good cut in the film right here. So you're gonna say what we're gonna do.
Okay, I'm gonna take this thing back apart. I'm gonna take the skirts off, and I'm gonna trim the edge of the skirts. I still have to put a lining in them, but I'm not gonna do that till way later. But I do want to get them trimmed and the top edge burnished.
Let's go.
Okay. Cup this good one more time.
Put it back over our sewing machine.
Put it back over our sewing machine. Our cup holder.
Our back jockey holder.
Yeah. But I can't stress this enough on these back jockeys. That cup is going to make all the difference in the world as far as the final look and fit of things.
Pre-shapement.
Plus it looks like he's ready to fly.
You got bat wing shafts and bat wing.
Jockeys.
That's hard to say.
Take this little tack out that I put in. That's the thing about those carpet tacks is they're just a wedge and they're really easy to get back out. So if you just want to tack something down, that's something good to use. Okay, I'm going to cut the laces here. Drop Mr. Woodson's knife back up here. Most of the time, as far as sharpening a head knife, most of the time when I sharpen one, I'll do it on a wheel, a buffing wheel with some coarse grit compound on it. A lot of people I've heard use valve grinding compound. I got some stuff from outfit called Saddle or Sandpaper of Texas. I'm not sure exactly what it was, but it was a gray compound. It was kind of like putty. Came in a tube, kind of like a big bunch of sausage tube, you know.
a tube of compound.
Yeah. All right, here we go. I'm just going to cut this off flush.
Oh, that's fine.
after I do this, I'll take it to the sanding wheel and chew it all up a little bit. There's one. If I wasn't going to antique this, I'd probably wait to do this until after the lining was stitched on. But since I'm going to antique it, I don't want to get the antique on the lining itself. Okay, now, if you look at this, I don't know if you can see this top edge right here.
Yep.
You can see why we put those plugs in. Because that lets it go from real thick here to get over the rigging hardware, and it just tapers off so you don't have a lump there. But anyway, next step I would have to go to the sander, and we don't want to take a camera back to the sanding wheel. So I guess we're done for the day. Unless someone else has some more questions. I can punch the holes in this.
Okay. We did have I think we got a couple, maybe another question.
Okay. I'm gonna go next door, see if the R&D guys have it. Here we go. I'm going to punch these holes that I marked for. All right, I gotta go return the car. All right,
There we have it.
there we have it for the
Episode,
day.
whatever number we're on.
Yeah, and I would say
8.
8. I would say probably 9, and possibly 10. You're just going to be watching me tool the seat, because I've got to get it all tooled before we can go much further. After I tool the seat, we'll block it in, and after I get it blocked in, I can mark the seat where, or the fork where I'm going to tool it, and I've got to tool it.
Sounds like a plan. We'll see you guys next time.
All right, bye.
Oh. For the ones for the next week, do you want to do it in the studio? You want to tool in there?
Yeah. I can do that.
If you're going to be tooling that,
Yeah.
that'd be an easy week on me, and I'll have to move
Yeah,
cameras back and forth.
Sure.
Tony needs an easy week.
Yeah.
Well, that way we can all be
Bring
in.
one of these chairs in.
Let's
Maybe I'll have someone hold it. That's wrong.
do it. We'll get to that. Anything else to make you comfortable? Do you fan you?
Yeah.
On foot massage while you do it?
Great.
Oh, Graves.
Good
Feed you,
grapes.
feed you Graves?
And a girl to feed me. Hey, I would need one of those couches where I can lay back.
Tool off to the side. Alright, well, I think that's a good idea, because we told them that there was going to be some tooling that would happen
Yeah.
in between there.
Yeah.
You guys have a good weekend out there. We're going to shut her down here and clean her up.